So, you've heard of the who wore it best comparisons, or maybe you haven't. But today, let's compare it to it, old versus new. Who pulled it off best? Who was scarier? Who was more memorable? Let's get into it. So, as you all know, the first It was released in 1990 as a miniseries based on Stephen King's book, and it was played by Tim Curry. Tim Curry is just one of those actors who is destined to play unusual and unstable characters. So obviously he was the best choice in 1990 to play Pennywise. Likewise, in the 2017 remake, the new Pennywise, played by Bill Skarsgård, is also an actor who has a certain something that lends well to tortured characters. Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård both did a really great job at having a non-threatening side. Well, as non-threatening as a clown can be. And a vicious side. I think despite the difference in appearance, they each played Pennywise very well. But what do you think? Who was the creepier Pennywise? Which brings us to the scare scenes. There is one glaring difference in the older versus newer version, and that is the special effects. There is no question that the 2017 version had the bigger, more elaborate scary scenes. But does bigger always mean better? There is a principle at play for pretty much every movie we see, and that is called the willing suspension of disbelief. And that allows us to really get into a movie and be scared or moved or outraged, even though we know this is all just pretend. But some movies lean on this willing suspension more than others. So my question to you is, are the subtle horror scenes more scary than shocking, in-your-face special effects scenes? Do scenes that feel ever so slightly more realistic stick with you longer after the movie is over? The cast of each movie follows a group of misfits that make up the Losers Club. Both groups were likable in their own way. Obviously, they each have the same characters: the class clown, the unwilling mama's boy, the overweight sensitive kid, and so on. The kids in the modern version were definitely, more polished. The wisecracker was way more sarcastic and quick with the one-liners, and the mama's boy was way more pedantic and neurotic than the 1990 counterpart. Side note, this guy was such a good actor. But the older group seemed to be more subtle and realistic with their personalities and behaviors. I don't know if this is a symptom of just seeing the 1990s version first, but I find the group from the original movie to have more charm than the modern group. So my question to you out there is, which Losers Club was better? The older, because they were more natural or possibly had more charm, or the 2017 squad because they were funnier and more polished or just shinier? So I'm just here to ask the questions. Let me know in the comments, who wins this face-off in your eyes?